All right, here we go. Question 26 from our Calculus 1, homework number 1 in WebAssign. They want us to use the graph given of f of x equals x squared to find a number delta such that if the absolute value of x minus 1 is less than delta, then the absolute value of our function minus the limit stays less than a half. So in this case, our epsilon, our distance away from our limit, is given to be 0.5. What we're trying to calculate is how far away from 1 can we choose our x's to remain within that epsilon tolerance. And so this is actually going to be pretty fun. All we have to do, understanding that they gave us the y min and max, I'm going to call that the minimum and maximum value that we can be away from the limit. We're going to plug those y values into our function to calculate the x's that would give us those y's. And then once we know the x1 and the x2, the values of x that would put us at 0.5 and 1.5, we can then calculate the distance away from 1 they are. And then all we have to do is pick the smaller one. All right, here we go. So we have our equation, y equals x squared. I'm going to start with 0.5. That is a y value. It's got to equal x squared. To solve for x, simply take the square root of both sides, and we're going to call that x1. That's going to be this guy right here. The square root of 0.5 in our class whiz gives us square root of 2 over 2. And if you read the instructions, it says round answers to 3 decimal places. So I'm going to need to force that into a decimal and round it. 0.707. Now then, our other y value, 1.5, plugging that into our equation and taking the square root to solve for x. On the class whiz, square root of 1.5 as a decimal, rounded to 3 places, 1.225. So here x2, 1.225. Checking that one more time to make sure I rounded correctly. And that's going to be this value. Now we can find delta 1 and delta 2 and determine which one is smaller. Remember, we're looking at how far away those x's are from 1. So then what we need to do is first 1 minus 0.707 and then 1.225 minus 1. 1 minus 0.707 is 0.293. That is delta 1. And then 1.225 minus 1, 0.225. Which one is smaller? 0.225. And remember, we're picking the smaller one because then that guarantees that if you go that distance left or right, that is going to guarantee that you fall within this range of values around 1. All right, 0.225. WebAssign says 0.224. I'm pretty sure that I did that calculation correctly. Let me check. Making my scratch work. The square root of 1.5, square root of 6 over 2, and if you round that to 3 decimal places, that's 0.225. All right, so here's why I think WebAssign gave 0.224 when really the rounded answer, 0.225, was counted correct, but they gave us the other number. Here's what I think happened. If you round up, you know, if I zoom in on my picture here, if you round up, that would actually put you slightly past rounding up would put you a little bit outside that value. So in this case, this is one of those situations where you would actually want to round down to guarantee that you stay inside of your range of values. Rounding up, can you see that? Throws us a little outside of our range of values. Although WebAssign counted it correct because it did say to round. Yeah, okay, WebAssign should not have counted that correct, because now when I read the instructions more closely, it says round your answer down. It does tell to round down to 3 places. So that's my bad, dog. You got to make sure you read those instructions carefully. And I hope I explained exactly why the 225 would not and should not have been counted correct in this case. Anyway, that's going to do it for this problem. If you have any questions or comments about anything covered in this video, please feel free to leave those in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.